Alright, we've come to Sunday morning. We've survived. Proud of that. We're just sitting down with Juliette from Mornings.
Hi.
They represent the coolest game in Essen, probably, at least from my point of view. I'm super excited about it, Scythe. So we'll let Juliette take over and tell us what the game is about.
So, well, you've probably heard about Scythe, but basically the principle of the game is that you have a map of the world as we know it, and in the middle of the world is the factory that used to build mechs, but there has been a big war, the factory closed, so now all the surrounding countries are going to start to move in to explore and conquer and you know, take the resources from the land, occasionally go to war with each other. But the bottom line is there's a lot of things that you can do which are all written down on this track. There are 10 big objectives. Every player gets 6 stars like this, which you may know from Euphoria, from the other game. And you have up to 6 stars that you can place in any of the 10 categories. Once the player has placed his 6th star, the game immediately finishes. But it's the richest player that wins the game. So throughout exploring and doing your strategy, you want to focus on getting a lot of money, because if you are rich, you will win the game, and if you're poor, you're probably going to lose.
This is pretty much like real life then?
It is pretty much like real life, like a lot of the actions as well. Like if you don't have money to spend, you can't do anything. So you need to wait until you can get more money. So I always, when my players sit at the table, I'm like, don't spend all your money, because if you do, you're going to be blocked. I mean, there's an action to get more money, of course, but in this game you're only allowed to do one action at a time, so you can't do the same action twice in a row unless you have a special power. So each one of these people represents a country. They have, you know, they have a name, they have an animal, they have a backstory, which you can read about in the rules. But each one of them has a special power throughout the game. So if you can see, there's the character map and then the action map. And you have your character, beautiful illustrations. I mean, nobody can say that this game isn't gorgeous. And they have 4 mechs with specific, what do you call them, attributes, things that they can do. But also, in the top right corner, you have a little bit about that person and what they can do that nobody else at the table can do. So when you're going to go and do your strategy and explore, you want to focus on your superpower. For example, if you look, every single character is in their own country and they're surrounded by water. They're unable to cross the water. So if they want to do that, they have 2 ways to do that. They either need to get a mech that helps them walk over water, or they can build a tunnel, which allows them to enter the tunnel, here in this case, enter here, and then exit in the tunnel system throughout the game. Your character, however, has the ability, your workers may move across rivers, so your workers can just, you know, move around, which none of the others can. So if you would want to go and explore the world, you would have an advantage over the other players. And that is an advantage you would incorporate into your strategy as you build it. So it's really neat mechanisms, it's really neat ideas. For example, Gunther here, he has the special ability that he can get more stars for every war that he wins. So his strategy, more often than not, is to go and attack people. Whereas Anna over here, she can pick up to 2 options per encounter card. So she would try to go to the encounter tokens more often than other players. Yeah. Yeah, and you can see there are 4 different kinds of resources that you can produce. What I really like about this map is very coherent. So if you look, the farms stand out the most. So you have farms here. Every time there's a farm, it will produce food, whereas forests produce wood, mountains produce metal, villages produce workers, and the tundra produces oil. So even if you don't remember what the symbols mean, you can look at the picture on the map and it's just perfectly logical in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the graphics are not only beautiful, it seems like it's very functional.
There's a method to it, yeah, absolutely. Every country, for example, has 3 resources they can produce, but if they need the other 2, they have to trade for them. So that is also something that is possible as an action. So that's the thing about Scythe, you have so many things you can do that in the beginning when you first learn the rules, it's like so much information, but once you start playing, everything falls into place perfectly. You're no longer confused, and the first time you learn the game, you can actually play and enjoy it without having to focus too much to remember the rules. So that's why we always have full tables all the time. Nobody ever gets up and leaves halfway through the game. We haven't had that a single time, which is, I think, is success for us.
That is a pretty good rate.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if you want to have a look at your action map,
Yes.
every player has the same actions, but they're all in a different order. They're all different cost and rewards, and everybody obviously will do a different combination at any time. So the general rule is you can do the top action or the bottom action, or both, in which case you have to do the top and then the bottom action. You choose what you want to do, you then do your action, and then it's the next player's turn. When it's your turn again, you must move your meeple to another action and do another action. So that way you cannot do the same thing twice in a row, unless you're Olga, who has that special ability that you can do the same action twice in a row. So yeah, everybody has the same actions, but obviously everybody would use a different strategy. So at the beginning of the game, every player gets 2 objective cards. Again, beautifully illustrated. It outlines 2 scenarios that you may find yourself in throughout the game. You can actively play towards reaching one of these goals, because reaching this lets you place a star on the mission track. However, they're 2 completely different ones normally, because if I do one strategy, but then something changes and I have to change my strategy, I still have the option to pursue the other objective. So you're not cornered into one way to play the game. So that is quite nice. And then of course, you have the factory card. So if a character arrives at the factory, they get their choice of these factory cards, which are 5th actions, but with a much higher reward. Like this one, for example, you pay 1 popularity point, but you can get a mech or a structure. Normally, getting a mech, in this case, costs 4 metal. Building a structure costs 3 wood. Now, if I reach the factory and I get this factory card, I can actually get it for only 1 popularity point. The first player gets to choose from all cards and pick his favorite, and the last player chooses from 2 that nobody else wanted. So it is also a race to the factory, if that is the strategy they want to incorporate.
Some people will race there,
some will try to get all their workers, some people will try to get very strong so they can attack other people. I have played this game for about a year now. I've been demoing it at fairs, and I have not once played the same game twice. Not a single time, and I'm not bored of it. I still enjoy playing it.
Which is your favorite strategy?
I like playing Olga because she has a tiger and really cool mechs. I also like her power to do the same thing twice in a row. I find it very easy to go out into the world. With other characters, I struggle a bit more. I like her as well because she has the 2 options on the encounter card. I really like that option. And then Bjorn. I really like Bjorn. I think he's very strong. He's got a very cool ability. It's seaworthy, which means mechs and the character can actually travel between seas. And I really like that.
So you can spread around a lot.
Exactly. Well, I feel that I can. Bjorn and Anna both have that ability to cross lakes. And yeah, no, I just really like that personally. So I usually try to play one of those 3 characters over there. He's very war focused. It's not really my thing, and I struggle a lot with this one. But
I'm probably choosing that one for the first game.
But yeah,
I'm usually the bastard who's trying to
attacking everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not nice. But yeah, that's the basic idea of Scythe. Again, there's so many things you can do that even after playing this game, I mean, I really don't know how many times I've played it, but there's still things I want to try out, things I want to learn. So yeah, it's just a really wonderful game, and Jamie really outdid himself on this one.
We're all sitting and waiting with excitement.
Yeah.
As far as I know, we're getting into Finland in November.
Good,
So
very good. It's a no-brainer. If you don't have the game you're thinking about getting, definitely get it because it's just really fantastic.
agreed.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you, Juliette.
You're welcome.